Being born as a human is all about hardships of life. For example, if my small finger gets cut, it might not seem like a hardship for me because it is just a simple cut. A bleed comes out and after some time it stops. But what if I say, for some, that tiny cut can mean hours, even days of unstoppable bleeding? Welcome to the world of hemophilia, a rare disorder where blood refuses to clot. What is hemophilia? Hemophilia is one of the oldest known genetic disorders. It's rare, mysterious, life-threatening. For centuries, it was called the royal disease after Queen Victoria passed it down to her descendants, including the famous Russian prince Alexei Romanov. So hemophilia isn't just a royal condition. Today, it silently affects hundreds, even thousands of families across the globe. And yet most people barely know about what exactly it is. In simple terms, hemophilia is a genetic disorder where blood does not clot the way it should. Hemophilia is an X-linked disorder. Mind you, X-linked, which means the fault lies in the X chromosome. While boys have got XY chromosome, if their X chromosome is the faulty gene, they get the disease. Whereas in girls, there are X and X, which is two X chromosomes, which means if one X is faulty, the other X chromosome usually protects them, making them the carriers of hemophilia and not the patients. Hence, a carrier mother has a 50% chance of passing hemophilia to her son and 50% chance of making her daughter the carrier. Sadly, many people don't understand this science and the mothers are usually blamed for this condition caused usually by the genetics. So what exactly is hemophilia? So there is a team of proteins called the clotting factors, and you will understand while you're watching this video. There are three main types of hemophilia. Hemophilia A, caused by missing factor VIII, hemophilia B, caused by missing factor IX, and hemophilia C, caused by missing factor 11, which is much rarer. Among these, hemophilia is by far the most common, affecting about 1 in 5,000 boys at birth. It makes up to 80% of all the cases for someone with hemophilia A, which means this tiny cut could mean hours of unstoppable bleeding, or even worse, an internal bleeding that can never even show or surface when it happens. It is a rare condition and it is single most important missing piece, factor VIII. Let's talk about factor VIII. One tiny protein with life-altering consequences. Why I say so? Because factor VIII is one of the several clotting factors in your blood. Think of clotting like a domino effect. When you bleed, a chain of proteins activates one after another in order to form a stable clot and stop the bleeding. So let me explain you how a domino effect works. So imagine that there is a pack of cards and each card is replaced one next to the other, and if I just push the first card, the entire card will create a domino effect, ensuring wherever the card is linked, it is also going to fall. Making it a perfect domino effect. But what if I remove two cards from the pack and then I hit the first card? The card will simply fall without creating the domino effect. A similar kind of phenomena exactly happens when you get a cut and you start bleeding. Your body naturally creates this protein domino effect, which actually creates a domino effect in order to stop by creating a stable clot. Factor VIII is one of the most crucial dominoes in that process. Without it, the whole system collapses. In hemophilia A, the body doesn't just produce enough factor VIII or doesn't produce at all. So basically, no factor VIII leads to no clotting, leads to dangerous and uncontrolled bleeding. This condition is genetic and passed down through families, often from carrier mothers to their sons. It is carried on the X chromosome, which is why males are almost the most exclusively affected, while women can be silent carriers. Without factor VIII, bleeding doesn't stop, but the real danger isn't the bleeding you can see. The real danger is the bleeding you can't see, which is internal bleedings into joints, knees, elbows, ankles. There are episodes which have been incredibly painful. Over time, repeated bleeding can cause permanent joint damage, stiffness, chronic pain. Bleeding into muscles can cause swelling and even nerve damage. And the cherry on the cake, brain bleeding, which can be triggered by something as minor as a fall. Let's say you're walking and suddenly you fall, and you can have an internal injury, and it can even be very, very fatal. And here's the scary part. For most people, hemophilia A looks like completely healthy until the first injury, surgery, or a tooth extraction actually reveals that there is a big problem. In severe cases, even spontaneous bleeding can occur without any injury at all. The gene responsible for producing factor VIII is located in X chromosome. So there are three severity levels of hemophilia A. Mild cases are those cases where bleeding happens because of bigger injuries. Moderate cases are bleeding because of minor injuries, and severe happens because of bleeding with almost no injuries, internal bleeding, and it can be life-threatening. So here's the catch. Most people in the hemophilia are born healthy. The disorder stays hidden until their first injury or first surgery gets revealed. That is why the diagnosis often comes as a shock to the parents. Globally, over 2 lakh people live with hemophilia A. But here's the heartbreaking truth. Many developing countries such as Nepal, India, Bangladesh, and there are other countries also. I'm naming these countries because I live here. Treatment is either unavailable or too expensive. Some families face costs over $2 lakh a year for factor VIII therapy. And for them, a minor injury can become a matter of life and death. I have linked in the description a podcast where I've interviewed someone who is leading the Hemophilia Federation of India for Noida chapter. And she has shared the entire story. You can click on this link and listen to that entire stream. Let's get back to the video. So what is the solution? Hemophilia may be rare, but its impact is massive. The good news is, with the right awareness, the early diagnosis, and the modern treatments, people with hemophilia can actually live full and active lives. They can even marry, they can even have children and live a happy life. So what can you do for yourself and for your children? Share this video and talk about it. I have pinned in the description about the Hemophilia Federation International and its branches which are running in this entire country. If anybody has this kind of a condition, it's very, very important to reach out to the nearest helpline and understand about this condition. What are the steps you can take? I'm not an expert here, I'm here just to educate. So if you really like this entire video, I would request you to share with as many people as possible, because sometimes saving lives isn't about a grand gesture. It's about making sure that a little cut doesn't take life, and for that the right awareness is reached on time. Subscribe to my channel for more such informative content. Thank you for staying till here.